Everyone. And up next, the topic is the role of strategic sourcing in long-term partnership with suppliers. And for the same, I would like to introduce the speaker. Mr. Gopi T is a seasoned industry leader with over 25 years of experience in various domains, including P&L management, international business management, business strategy, business transformation, manufacturing operations, demand predictions, procurement, supply chain and sales and distributions, marketing, and many more. He has successfully managed business worth rupees 1 billion in mechanical, automobile, textile, retail, and renewable energy sectors across global markets. Gopi holds advanced qualification including a doctorate in operation and supply chain management, a master in science in manufacturing, engineering, and certification from Harvard University and IIM Bangalore. He is a Six Sigma Black Belt holder, a member of prestigious organizations, and has received numerous awards and recognitions for his professional excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Gopi T, Chief Procurement Officer from Senvion Wind Technology Private Limited. Let's have a huge round of applause for him.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. Am I audible back row? Very good. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, friends and colleagues. My name is Gopi. I think Say had given a brief introduction about. So I give a small introduction. Last 6 years, I'm in renewable industry. Before that, I was from textile and retail, and prior to that, almost 2 decade experience from automobile company like Mahindra, Toyota, and Honda Ancillary. And all along in my career, I was headed manufacturing unit for Mahindra's PAS division, 6 units. And then I had almost 20 years experience in procurement and supply chain across the world. Thank you very much for the small hearing out my introduction. What I'm going to do here is, the topic given to me is partnering with supplier or collaborating with suppliers. What are the supply chain risks and how do we mitigate that? I think many of you in your life face the challenges, maybe collaborated or partner with vendors. But what I'm trying to bring in is, what are the key things currently going on in industry? How as an industry, renewable industry, we manage, especially post-COVID season after 2020. So what are we going to talk here is need of collaboration or partnership. You can name it anything. And why to collaborate, where to collaborate, how to collaborate, and what are the benefits we are getting it, and what are the potential risks while collaborating or maybe while supply chain post era of COVID-19, and tracking and measuring this vendor KPI, vendor metrics. These are the few topics we are going to talk about. Very purpose of collaboration or partnership or maybe working together or hand in glove operations, name it anything. Very purpose is industry is moving towards global operations or global sourcings. You need to source materials, services, technology, or maybe any other relation to manufacturing or services kind of thing from across the globe, east and west, anywhere you need to buy it. The collaboration will help you in terms of seamless operations, seamless execution of services or procurement of material with a shorter real time, optimal prices kind of thing. What do we need to do is important to know where to collaborate, what are the strengths we need to combine together, and what are the clear expectations while collaborating or maybe partnering with vendors, and how do we take them together in terms of partnering approach or trustworthy partners instead of what you call treating as a supplier, treating as a vendor. Maybe I would say a decade before, customer was in edge, driving seat, vendor used to listen, and we used to demonstrate or maybe we used to dominate what we want, what services, what materials, what support we want. We used to authoritatively we need to push vendors to get the services and materials. Now things have changed, especially post-COVID session. And the meaning of the big word called trust is, it is absolutely what you call purely I would say what you call, to the extent it is missed, or maybe to the extent we need to rebuild time and again, demonstrate how much we are working together with supplier, or how much we are putting the trust in each other so that we get the benefit each other's. So what are the successful collaboration, where to collaborate? One is the area of our own capability, like design and technology. If you have any softwares like Ariba or SRM or any artificial intelligence, any data points you need to share with your vendors, we can share, we can collaborate together with vendors. And what do we do by collaborating with them? So to create a win-win opportunities instead of what you call win-lose or lose-win opportunity between both parties, when you say customers and suppliers together. And to create win-win situation, we need to create incentives, we need to share the benefit, share some kind of supports to vendors. And while selecting partners, we need to select purely merit of supplier rather than what you call how big he is from industry, or maybe how close to you, to your heart, to your industry kind of thing. How to collaborate is invest right resources. When you say resources, it may be infrastructure, it may be human brain, it may be technological, it may be monetary, it may be co-purchasing or co-learning kind of things. And we need to also leverage the infrastructure of vendor as well as capabilities, everything. And also we need to jointly measure the performance for every projects, or every metrics, or every aspects what we are working with the vendors. Timely measurement, timely taking action will prevent the failure. And long-term collaboration. Collaboration cannot come on short term. Say example, I am liking you right now, I need some support from you. We can collaborate for 6 months or a year kind of thing. Collaboration is a long term. So that you will get the benefit more fruitful rather than what you call temporary phenomena kind of thing. Where to collaborate, what to collaborate, strategic sourcing, there is something called zero-based costing, every industry is using right now, and product-based costings. I'm in renewable industry, I'm in a wind turbine manufacturing company called Senvion Wind Technology. We have limitation of vendors across the globe. Say example, a gearbox size of 24 metric ton height, probably maybe 1/5 of this room size is the gearbox size. So we don't know unless otherwise other components vendor like mechanical components are varying kind of, there are thousands of vendors across the globe. But whereas we have limitation of vendors, only 2 or 3 people. So what we need to do, we leverage our technology, we share our technology, we also listen from vendors using their technology and brains, and work on zero-based costing so that it would not be supply dominant pricing kind of thing. Rather we go with a very meritly zero-based costing and arrive a common price, and do check with benchmark, do benchmark industry prices kind of thing, and use it for our purpose. And indigenization is our long activity, especially in the wind industry and solar industry. We used to import a lot of metal from China and Europe to start with the product development. So we go with Chinese and European vendors, and slowly we convert everything to India. So for which either we need to collaborate with the vendor who are abroad, ask them to put up a shed in India, or ask them to share the technology in India, collaborate with the Indian vendors, and indigenize the component through which both of them get benefited. That's where indigenization is coming, bigger picture. Value engineering, yes, when we are launching a new product, it will come with a complete spec. However, if you go for a serial production, if you go with a mass scale production, you need to get more benefit or more profit out of the product, for which you need to do continual value engineering project, so that something can be optimized, something can be redesigned, through which you can company get benefit more out of this exercise. And working capital optimization. Nowadays, working capital is the key essential, especially my industry, renewable industry. We used to pour our working capital cash well in advance. Our cash in, cash out cycle is, or rather cash out, cash in cycle is something minimum 8 to 9 months time. I place a PO and I pay LC to vendors, get the material after 4 or 5 months lead time, wherever the location from China or Germany or some other places. Once it is comes to India, we need to assemble the turbine, dispatch to customers like Adani, Reliance, and all other big players in India. And there also there is a key. Customer used to pay 10% advance while placing the orders. But whereas we need to pour 100% payment to vendor, bring the material to India, produce it, dispatch it, and dispatch of component we get some peanuts, maybe 10-20% additional more we get it. After erection and commissioning, successful running of turbine, we get the balance money. So that's where the problem. Renewable industry, mainly what you call, we need to work on working capital from our end as well as vendor end. So by simply giving 300 or 400 machines projection or purchase order to vendor, vendor will not invest the money. So what we need to do innovatively, we need to arrange maybe standby LC for security mechanism. We used to give 25 machines worth of standby LC, ask them to produce and dispatch the material along with the LC kind of thing. We used to optimize the working capital. What are the process improvement we do? One is the internal process improvement within our factory. What kind of waste elimination we can do that, whether it is human resource, whether it is process resource, whether it is process optimization kind of thing. Other way around, value streaming. So value stream mapping with our own process as well as vendor process, through which we can reduce some value elimination and something we can add value addition, so as the supplier also will get benefited out of it through value stream mapping or value deletion and addition kind of exercise. And optimize raw material consumption. Raw material consumption is the key essential. In our industry, we used to use almost 50 kilo worth of grease for a turbine. And if it is not continuously monitoring, if it is not continuously repairing, as an example, once in 6 months we doesn't perform O&M activity, the consumption may increase to 850 kilo to maybe around 5%, 7% extra, which is national waste for us as well as for the person who is utilizing, the IPP who buy the machine from us. Cycle time reduction. Through value stream mapping, we can optimize the cycle time reduction at both supplier as well as our own end, through which we can leverage the benefit of productivity. Say example, I can give you a small exercise, a small example. In wind turbine, there are 3 blades, wind blades. So wind blades, there are specific player in India, a company called LM Blades and TPA Composite. They used to produce these machineries according to the OE design. Here the crux is they are monopolies. They are highly superior in terms of pricing and cost. So what industry does it? Initially for first 50 or 100 machines, we buy from OEs, we design our own blades, we import molds, and then we used to procure resin, fabrics, and kind of light wood materials from e-coder. We do kit it, we start production ourselves. When you start production, initial production may goes, in our example, the first blade, proto blade we produced in our factory was taken almost 120 hours. Whereas if you go with people like LM or TPI, they used to operate 24 hours to 30 hours cycle time. How do you reach 30 hours cycle time? Is cycle time reduction through VSM. VSM can be value stream mapping. Say example, if you break out your entire production of blade, there must be 20 process involved in this process. Every process can be broken to small poke, small improvement activity, improvement project we have taken. And there are, after 10-15 sets of production, you can come to know that what are the value elimination you can do that in the project, so that your cycle time can be improved, through which you can optimize the labor cost as well as even raw material optimization also. And joint cost reduction exercise, there are, in our industry, there are some C-class vendors, their turnover is not even more than 10 to 15 crore rupees. So if I pour a big chunk of order around 100 to 200 machines, for them the order value itself around 6.5 crore. Almost half of the turnover of the year, or maybe 3/4 of turnover, itself a purchase order cycle. They were not able to leverage the price from steel mills or maybe copper traders kind of thing. So what we did, we used to club all small vendors, take the orders, because we are going to give the order to them, take the raw material requirement. We negotiate with mills like JSW, Tata Steels, even some other Chinese mills. Similarly for copper trading, we hedge it, we procure on behalf of them, we issue the free issue the material for raw material, reduce that much amount of value from the purchasing of raw material component from them, through which we are also getting benefited. This guy also, the small scale industry also getting benefit out of it. Scale of volume, the free usage will come with scale of volume. Either vendor used to buy holistic volume, or we buy and distribute to vendor. And the packaging in our industry, especially transporting 25 tons worth of material from China, or maybe 30 tons of worth of metal from China in one box is a big issue, or a big waste. Say example, the moment it comes to India, it has become scrap. So what we used to do, we used to prepare reusable packaging. Once in 6 months, we consulted and send empty packing units in a steel gauge or maybe reusable, foldable gauge kind of thing. We send it to vendor, and then again they are using it. Through which way, normally industry used to operate 1.5 to 2% as a packaging cost. We restrict our packaging cost to 0.75%. That's how we are getting benefited out of it. And then incentive and cost sharing benefit. When you collaborate or partner with vendors, it is not a one way. Whatever you demonstrate, you dictate, you only get benefit out of it. Through value engineering, value stream mapping, process cycle time reduction, there is a cost benefit we are getting it. Maybe initial phase, because we are teaching position, we are investing money on training and developing the people. So we get the benefit around 70-80% for the first year. And second year onwards, we regularize it 50-50 sharing portion. That's where we are getting benefit out of it. So what are the benefit we are getting collaborating with vendors or probably partnering with vendor is we are improving communication first and foremost, because we are working together day in, day out. My engineers, my managers working with their counterpart. And the first time right product development without any rejection. The first time it is approving, the very first time they produce the proto and supply to you, so that you can approve the product and go for your serial. And reduce cost of quality. Rejection rate is very low or maybe minimal, or rather what you call eliminated. Manage supply chain risk. What are the supply chain risks? If you are collaborating with vendor, you have very good relationship. You are working with them day in, day out, or on a frequent interval basis, open sharing mechanism. You get to know that well in advance, what are the challenges they are facing it, and how to mitigate well in advance. And superlative customer satisfaction. A better deal in negotiation by collaborating and co-working with them. And the next topics given to me is how to identify potential risk and preparing contingency plan. I have a slide prepared for me in our business. We use FMEA for identifying potential risk. There must be thousands of challenges. I am touching only 5-6 challenges. What are the risk in priority, or maybe risk you identified? Commodity price variation. How to control commodity price variation is a hedging strategy. Say example, during COVID season, COVID period, initial first 3 months, the commodity went on crash. And then after 6 months time, it started shooting out. So any companies budgeted prior COVID or maybe during COVID season, whatever the price, especially from May 2020 to June 2020, probably they got a big hit on their belt. So what we did that point of time, we had the product during the season because we anticipated this is not the price. Because we tracked the last 4-year performance, 3-year performance of copper, aluminum, and steel. And we booked at least 6 months advance of these commodities. That's where we are getting benefited out of it. And indigenous exercise, every company is working on localization or indigenous product as alternate for import product. CapEx commissioning support or maybe machinery commissioning support, especially this period, last 2 years, we could not able to physically call the people from machinery installation and commissioning. We use online or video calling facility. Actively we used it and we commissioned the product. And increase in component price, forex variation. Forex again hedging is the tool we use it for controlling the forex variation. Even recently we started using it. All Chinese components, instead of giving dollar LC, we started giving CNY LC directly. Chinese currency LC directly. That's where we are avoiding the brokerage of INR to dollar and dollar to CNY. There are companies we have started speaking with how do they use directly Indian currency. Say example, one of the company called NGC Transmission in India. They're basically from China. So they have a franchisee in India. We negotiated a deal with them for our upcoming project. We pay INR basis and they can supply from China. Those kind of mutual win-win solution we identified. And value engineering, mainly value where it is comes, players like us, we have our own engineering team. There are 200 odd people sitting in Germany and India to design our turbine. So the moment I give the design paper or design spec to my vendor used to take a lot much time to understand the design first, and then they come closer to our designs. So in the process, initial proto gets heavier than the design spec kind of things. So once the initial proto comes, we produce the machine. We do the value engineering, reverse engineering workshop at our factory. Where are the areas we can identify? We can identify the okay, we can identify the cost reduction areas. We work together value engineering workshop and get the benefit out of it. An increase in component price due to high fluctuation freight cost. This is the challenge, especially after September 2022 till 2022 September, we face it. Post-COVID, all shipping line, many of my colleagues or friends would have come from shipping line industry. Don't accuse me. They used this as a potential opportunity for increasing their price. The normal container of 20 feet or a normal container went up to almost $12,000 from China to India. And we used a specialized equipment, it gone up to $24,000 as against normal $3,500 kind of thing. What we did it, we work with our regular player like DSP, SIVA, and MSC kind of people. We call them, instead of annual rate contract, we sign a quarterly contracts. At least we can limit the variation towards a particular quarter kind of thing. Now we are getting benefit out. The average $3,000 we are paying for our specialized equipment. So we did half-yearly contract. That's where you can limit your variation in terms of freight. That's how your landed cost will not affect this exercise. And then delivery in delay in deliveries, single source, wherever you have single vendor, we tend to face music, or rather what you call, we are at the mercy of that vendor. So when we start the project, although we approve with one vendor for our machine, so we also parallelly started our second source approval kind of thing. Maybe down the line 6 months, we had alternate vendors, so we get the benefit out of dual sourcing. The one source is mandatorily from India, other source from the original destination, either Germany or China, we use it in our project. So what do we, how do we track your performance? What are the key metrics or KPI from vendors we are measuring it? Quality, when you see, when we qualifying the vendor, we used to use the tool called PPAP, first part approval, everything. And quality process, product confirmation or rejection level less than 1000 ppm. And cost, total cost ownership, raw material sourcing, value addition, and value engineering activities, packaging cost optimization, and annual rate contract. So as you can get the turnover discount, everything well ahead. Then delivery and environmental. So I would like to show what are the outcomes through this exercise is cost control and enhancing the bottom line. And team development at both ends. Not necessary every time we are at upper hand, we only demonstrate our design capability, or maybe our sourcing capability or IQ level. We can learn a lot of things from experts, expert industry from our supplier. And driving long-term plan, setting the benchmark to competitor, or rather what you call learn from benchmark competitor, what are the best practices they're using it, and do continuously innovate business excellence activity. And also work upon, right now we are working on 2030 supply chain transformation project. So by partnering with vendors, these are the benefits we can get it. Thank you guys. I would like to show, this is the example, we de-risk our supply chain challenges when we launched this 2.8 megawatt machine during 2020. The tool we used is FMEA. What are the priorities? Potential failure mode, possible causes. RPN is risk priority matrix, wherein you can derive what are the severity of issue, how repeatedly it is occurring it, how do you detect it. Each will having a rating of 1 to 10 scale. So when you multiply all three, you can, the cumulative number comes. Normally industry operate anything less than 200 will be a low risk. 200 to 400 would be a medium risk, above 400 would be high risk. In our business, we were originally a German-based company. 2019, our company went on insolvency. 2020 middle, we have been taken over by a Saudi Arabian company. We restarted the business. So we set a benchmark. Anything less than 65 or 70 is a low risk. Between 75 to 200 is a medium risk. About 200 is a highest risk. So we attacked the highest risk factor first and attacked it and mitigated the thing so that so as we got benefited out of it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the insights. And I would request Mr. Akash Hegde, co-founder and MD at Shake Deal, to kindly join us on stage and felicitate. Let's have a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your observations.